This is KGW News at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Drew Carney, and we're starting today's news at noon with the story about Portland's reputation as a tourist destination. Used to be somewhere up here, now it's somewhere down here. And according to a recent report from Travel Portland, national conventions are now backing away, looking at other cities to host their events. Portland City Commissioners say they're not surprised by any of this. KGW's Keely Chalmers breaks down the report for us.
When many of us think of Portland, world-class restaurants, breathtaking scenery, and Soccer City, USA come to mind. The problem, for a lot of others, this is what they think of: civil unrest, public safety issues, and homelessness. At least that's what a recent tourism report by Travel Portland revealed. The agency presented its findings to Portland commissioners earlier this week.
Here's the problem. Around the world, too many people associate Portland with homelessness and homicide.
Commissioner Mingus Mapps is the city's tourism liaison. Like most commissioners, he was not surprised by the findings.
Today, a significant chunk of humanity is afraid of spending time and money in our city.
Portland's specific issues related to civil unrest and public safety concerns has exacerbated the negative occurrences of declining attendance and group cancellations.
That's Travel Portland President and CEO Jeff Miller. According to the city, in 2019, tourism supported about 36,000 jobs in the Portland metro area. In 2020, about 10,000 of those jobs disappeared, along with a lot of business.
Recovery is happening elsewhere, just not here.
Just doesn't seem like it's a safe situation for a lot of people.
Donald Kenny is owner of Spirit of 77, which depends a lot on tourism, especially from the nearby convention center. He worries what the pandemic plus Portland's not-so-pretty image will mean for business.
If there's a lot less people coming for conventions, that's a real impact to our business.
In the most recent iteration of this study, Portland has declined to the lowest levels of being a likely destination for delegates to attend the conference.
Miller says many conventions aren't wanting to come back to Portland, and it will likely take years for the city to convince them to come back.
All right, well, it wasn't uplifting, but I didn't expect it to be.
Mayor Ted Wheeler says the city is committed to addressing the public safety and homeless concerns, but until it does, it might have to put on hold some of its traditional bragging rights.
We're not ready for marketing. I'm not saying stop your marketing, but right now people don't buy it.
Keely Chalmers, KGW News.
Well, as we just heard City Commissioner Mingus Mapps say in that story, a lot of people are staying away from Portland because they associate the city with homelessness. And adding to that problem is the fact that Portland's plan to create new homeless villages keeps hitting roadblocks. According to Commissioner Dan Ryan's office, the 70 properties that were originally proposed for those villages are no longer being considered. So city leaders are looking for new locations, both public and private. One of them is part of the former Adams High School and Whitaker Middle School property in Northeast Portland. But the big picture goal here is to have 6 safe rest villages up and running by next year, although only 2 locations have actually been chosen so far. We know some Portland State University students are experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity, but now those students have a place to stay. This is a temporary shelter for PSU students that opened up this fall. It's called The Landing. It includes 8 pods or rooms, each with a table, a cot, and a place for personal belongings. The shelter also has showers, Wi-Fi, laundry, and a pantry for the students. And it's run out of the First Methodist Church of Portland, which is right by the PSU campus.
We hope that they can come and receive some respite from the experience of being housing insecure. It's really difficult to be a student. It's really difficult to be housing insecure or houseless, and it's extremely difficult to be both.
The way this works is the university refers students to the shelter, and so far 5 students are taking advantage of that space. Because of an unprecedented capacity crunch right now, OHSU is sending some patients to other hospitals. In a letter to staff yesterday, the hospital said it's seeing more patients than ever before in the ER, and there's also a critical lack of ICU beds. A spokesperson with OHSU tells us there are several reasons for this capacity crunch. They're still dealing with a high number of COVID patients, for one. They're also seeing a lot of transfers from non-COVID patients that come from other parts of the state. And people may have deferred medical care during the pandemic, and now those same people are needing even more critical care. And on top of all that, OHSU also has a staffing shortage right now. So again, some patients may be diverted to other hospitals and some surgeries may have to be rescheduled. We have one more story here before we check in with Rod Hill. This one is about the northern lights that we may actually get to see this weekend here in Oregon and Southwest Washington. Scientists are saying that the northern lights may be visible as far south as Pennsylvania in the east and all the way down to Iowa here in the west. And there's also that chance that the northern lights may actually reach Oregon and Southwest Washington. The best way to see the northern lights, we're told, leave the city. Take a drive somewhere out to the country where there's no artificial light at all. Take a look up to the skies, and then don't be mad at us when you don't see the lights, because there is still that chance, Rod, that we won't see them at all this weekend, right?
Yeah, you know, visibility-wise, we have a good chance of being clear in our region tomorrow evening, which will be the best opportunity. It's appearing, this is from a solar flare that left our star, the sun, back on Thursday. And again, the forecasts for these things are never certain, but there is that possibility tomorrow night. I've never seen it myself, but I tell you what, it looks to be something to see at some point, right? Our rain is on forecast track in that it did end a couple of hours ago here in Portland, and what's left of the rain band is now dropping off to the east and the south. So rain starting to pull out of Eugene. There's Madras. Good afternoon to you folks. It's light stuff, and then this rain band, LeGrand, the Blues, out into Pendleton getting some rain. This will continue to break up and drop to the south in the coming hours. Not just developing a lot of sun, but the cloud deck is thinning. Here's Newport, still overcast in the bay there from our live camera, 52 degrees. You can see some thin spots looking out over the valley. This is the camera out in Silverton at the Oregon Garden Resort looking off to the west, and kind of a similar scene with some thin patches over downtown Portland. But the rain chance is over. We will be dry moving forward. Your Friday evening plans look to be great. 59 at 4 p.m. I think we will see some increasing sunshine. 53 at 8 o'clock tonight. Coming up, the entire weekend forecast, which looks dry, and we'll pinpoint Sunday evening's temperatures for your trick or treat forecast. That's coming up.